Hello everybody, this is Gregory with Permanent Weight Loss Made Easy, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and in your weight maintenance. Today we're going to talk about hydration and then OMADing daily as a way to lose weight and to keep it off. Now before I begin, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so these episodes come fresh to you, and schedule something through the Clarity FM link here. If many of you guys know, I've lost over 100 pounds and I've kept it off for 30 plus years, so I might be able to help you in your post-weight loss endeavor. So what do I mean by OMADing? So OMADing is one meal a day. And you definitely seen the zeitgeist now. Like certainly when I started losing my weight in the early 90s, there was really no such thing as like well known as intermittent fasting. And whether it be intermittent or 24-hour fast or even longer fast, the idea of fasting certainly is in our Paleolithic wiring. There we lived in a feast, fast, famine kind of worldview, and our metabolism is set up this way. This is why this constant grazing that people do, the 6 meals a day, small meals, or three meals and 3 snacks, is so counterintuitive to the way our kind of evolution of our gut is. Because if you look at our Paleolithic ancestors, which is the majority of human history, we were Paleolithic. It was feast and then famine, right? If it was winter, you were famining, for lack of a better verb. And when the spring came in the summer, depending on how good your hunt was, depending on other factors where you lived in the world, you might have surplus of food. But the body is equipped to go several days without food. And so now in the last 10 years, I would say that in the kind of the eat clean, paleo world, all that kind of stuff that's been around maybe 20, 25 years, has definitely crept into mainstream culture, where the typical American has heard of fasting and the benefits of fasting. And we have episodes here on the benefits of fasting, so I'm not going to spend too much time on the biological benefits of fasting. I'm just going to kind of target in terms of weight loss and weight maintenance. But there's a lot of benefits to it, the psychological benefits and the aging benefits and whatnot. But is OMADing something smart for you to do if you're trying to lose weight or keep it off? I would tell you, look, as most of the studies show, that if you are intermittent fasting, let's say you're doing a 6-hour eating window or even an 8-hour eating window, let's say you're eating from noon to 8 p.m., you're eliminating breakfast. So if you look at the typical breakfast, today's Adelaide is like dessert in the morning, right? Pancakes, waffles, syrup, cereals, all these things. So just by eliminating one meal a day, you are cutting calories. You are cutting calories. And if you are somebody who is eating 2 regular meals from 12 to 8, you're definitely going to cut calories. And then if you're cutting calories and in addition to that, strength training or doing cardio, yeah, it's going to help you lose weight, because you're really rapidly reducing your net caloric intake. And we know that weight loss as a whole is consuming less than you're burning. And so fasting can help with that. What about OMADing? So OMADing, there's different ways people do the OMAD. One of it is that you just hydrate throughout the day, drink something very healthy like tea. A guy do sells tea, so online and at a store in Texas. So drinking the healthiest beverage on the planet, which is full of antioxidants, is probably smart. But let's say you're hydrating in the morning and then you decide to OMAD. And OMAD, let's say you do a 3-hour OMAD, 4 to 7. And so remember, fasting is not meant to be a sort of diet per se. You are not restricting your intake. I mean, you're restricting your intake, but it's not meant to be a diet. It's more of a way of life to get all the biohacks that come for fasting. But during that 3-hour window, when you are doing your 1 meal a day, or let's say it's a 2-hour window, I mean, it is hard to pack in. The average man is supposed to be consuming 2,600 calories. And again, that's based on age, weight, physical activity, all these things. But it is hard to pack in 2,600 calories in one meal. It is hard. I mean, you really have to go out of your way. And there's definitely ways you can go out of your way by consuming a lot of the middle aisle grocery store garbage like Skittles and cereals and baked goods, because those are high in calories and low in nutrition. But if you're doing it the right way, your fasting meals and your OMAD meals should be high in healthy fats like MUFAs and PUFAs, but high in protein as well. So we should be gravitating toward fish and to steak and to nuts and these things that are just very healthy. But will you lose weight if you OMAD it and you OMAD it daily? I would say as a whole, yes. Now, personally, I don't OMAD. There's been days where I have OMADed, but my typical days, the weekends are a little different than days of the week. But days of the week, I break my fast around 2:45, and I try to finish by 6:30. So I'm doing a 4-hour, and I've been doing a 4-hour for the last 3 years. And as I mentioned previously, I have not eaten breakfast aside from one time when I was in Rome. And I hate now I have to say that, if that was in January, but Prior to that, it was 8 years of no breakfast. As of recording this, 8 months since not having breakfast. But if you take away that one breakfast in Rome, which I just couldn't resist, it looked like it was a really good Roman buffet, and then I regretted it because it wasn't as good as it looked, as a lot of people with eating issues would recognize. But if you take away that one day, I have not had breakfast since 2014, November 2014. So I'm rolling around on 10 years here. But most of those years, most of those days in those years, especially in the first, I would say 5 to 6 years of that, I was probably breaking my fast at 2, and then 2 to 7. I'm not one to ever eat late at night. I know some people struggle with that, but like the 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., or even wake up and eat. I've never been that. But the last 3-4 years, it's definitely like been the 3 to 7. And so I find it difficult to pack in the calories. And normally when I break my fast, I'm not breaking it with a meal at 2:45, 3 o'clock. I'm breaking it with dark chocolate, with nuts. We have a playlist here on the 20 superfoods that I use, 20 things in my life that I use to weight maintain. And I do mention nuts and dark chocolate in there and tea. So I'm not even breaking. So really I only have one real quote meal, because the 3 o'clock breaking of the fast is normally just high caloric, healthy, compact, easy to transport, for lack of a better word, foods. And then at night for dinner, then I'll eat like a real dinner. But I would say as a whole, OMAD is a way to lose weight because it's just hard to pack in the calories. So as a whole, if you're eating still, if you're not using it as an excuse to binge a bunch of pizza and Burger King and ice cream and all that, but if you're just doing like a big meal to get the calories for the day, you're still not going to get to 2,600. And if you're working out too, and it's going to be very difficult for you. My struggle with the OMAD is that you get a tummy ache, right? Because your stomach's not really equipped to handle so much food so quickly. But if you're able to tolerate that because you have essentially 24 hours to rest your digestive system, then I would try it. My only caveat is if you do have a history of eating disorders like binge eating and so forth, binge eating can easily morph into OMADing or compressed eating window, because with binging, lots of times you're going through these periods where you're not eating a lot and then you just overindulge and you're gorge. So if you don't have a history of binge eating, then OMADing might be an effective thing for you to do. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever OMADed? Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.